the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Citi News.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Citi Prime News. We are coming to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Adjuatin Krama Domina. Coming up, Finance Ministry directed to release 1.5 billion Ghana cedis to customers affected by the banking sector cleanup. This afternoon, we'll hear from the customers who say the amount released is inadequate.
And if we are to consider this money to be released to Gold Coast customers alone, it is not even up to 50% of the outstanding balances that's supposed to be paid to Gold Coast Fund Management customers, not to talk of the rest of the institutions.
Also coming up, only Bridge 7, Enchi and Elubo communities in our Wayne municipality collapses, leaving thousands of residents stranded. Still in this bulletin, North Tong Member of Parliament Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa files RTI request demanding disclosure of Rock City's tax clearance certificate. And later, National Sports Authority denies claims of giving a haul in the $145 million Boteman Sports Complex for church activities, claiming the group sought permission for a different purpose.
And when they requested that they want to, a deputy minister was coming to give them lecture on leadership. So I felt that it will enhance their program.
Stay with us for details of these and more stories coming your way in the next 30 minutes. Remember, the bulletin is live around the globe on Citi Newsroom.com, on YouTube and on Facebook. You can find us on Citi 97.3 FM across the country. We're also live on a number of affiliates in the Western region. This is Premier 100.5 FM in Takoradi Beach, 105.5 FM also in Takoradi. In the Bono region, tune into Green and 95.9 FM in Sunyang. In the Ashanti region, this is Orange, 107.9 FM in Kumasi. Volta region, Global, 105.1 FM in Ho Adanu, 107.7 FM in Adakluwaya. In the northern region, tune into Diamond, 93.7 FM in Tamale. In the upper west region, Westlink, 88.1 FM in Laura. In the upper east region, Source, 100.1 FM in Boko. And in the northeast region, Scarp, 101.3 FM. Please stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for your company. This afternoon, President Nana Akufo-Addo has directed the Ministry of Finance to disburse 1.5 billion Ghana cedis to customers affected by the banking sector cleanup. The Bank of Ghana closed 5 banks and other financial institutions in August 2018 for violating banking regulations. Well, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam confirmed during a recent town hall in the United Kingdom that measures are in place to distribute the funds no later than October this year.
That government will not be held responsible for the investment decisions of individuals. But this government is so caring. Mistakes were made. People were not well informed. Maybe they didn't know who to consult to be informed or advised. But we also know that the people who are affected are suffering. We heard that some people have died. Some people had to commit suicide. This government is so caring that in the first place, we granted some bailout to all the affected. And I want to tell you again that the president has directed that we do another bailout. So between now and October, we will release 1.5 billion Ghana cedis to the affected people. This will not pay the entire amount, because the entire amount is 4 billion.
Well, the customers have been reacting and welcoming the directive, but the now defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Limited have expressed concerns that the release funds may be inadequate to fully compensate for all affected groups. Charles Nyame speaks for the aggrieved customers.
There is some form of relief, at least a sign of commitment from the side of government after we have pleaded and demonstrated for the past almost 4 years after the partial bailout. It's a sign of hope. But when you look at the outstanding balance locked up in this financial sector cleanup, especially with that of the fund management, Gold Coast Fund Management customers alone, we are having outstanding of over 4 billion Ghana cedis. And if we are to consider this money to be released to Gold Coast customers alone, it is not even up to 50% of the outstanding balances that's supposed to be paid to Gold Coast Fund Management customers, not to talk of the rest of the institutions. So we believe that the government could do better. And we are pleading with the government that they should come back again and top it up a bit so that at least it can cushion every customer to not less than about 70% of outstanding debt owed, and then we can talk about the rest.
That was the convener of the aggrieved customers of the now defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Limited, Charles Nyame. Let's stay with the financial sector because a development economist, Dr. George Domfe, is urging the government to put in place strategies to promote domestic resource mobilization in order to reduce the over-dependence on foreign support. This follows the government's announcement of completing its debt restructuring with its official creditors and saving the country some $8 billion in the process. Speaking to Citi News, Dr. George Domfe says the government must find innovative ways to rope in the informal sector into the tax net.
As a country, you cannot say you will not borrow if you look at our current situation. So the only thing that will put us on course so that one day we don't get to where we are is to strategize to generate more revenue, use policies that can promote domestic resource mobilization. And you see, you cannot give what you don't have. And so the only way out there is to make sure the economy does very well. And so if you have more factories, today, as I speak with you, we have over 14 million Ghanaians who are supposed to be working, but only 2.3 million pay income tax. The rest are involved with the informal sector, and we don't know what they do, and so government is not able to track them for them to pay taxes. Now, if government has built more factories as it is happening in the developed world, and so many people are in the formal sector, it becomes very easy for government then to collect, taxes.
Well, reacting to claims by the government that it has saved the country some $8 billion in its external restructuring, Dr. George Domfe says the government has only extended the payment period and not saved the country money.
I don't call it that we have saved. It's just suspension. You would have paid it. And so now if we were to pay, it would have been a problem because our revenues, we are not collecting enough revenues to do that. And so now that they have extended the payment period, it means that what you have to pay now, you are postponing it. But rather so, the interest rate has also been renegotiated, and because of that, what if we were supposed to pay 1,000, maybe it may come to about 800. And so definitely we are going to save a lot.
Dr. George Domfe is a development economist. Let's move away from that now. And patients visiting various government hospitals in the country have expressed worry with a slow process at the laboratory, citing long wait times. This follows the resumption of work by medical laboratory professional workers after their week-long strike. Speaking to Citi News, some frustrated patients called for an increased human resource at the hospitals to make the process more efficient and faster.
For today, I can say they have a lot of queue and it's not moving so fast. But somehow, we'll say it's okay for today.
I pray that the queue should be very quick and they should get back to us very fast. And because the queue is actually hectic, and then most of us can't be sitting in a queue for hours due to the long queue issue. So they should do something about it.
They are attending to the patient, and what I don't like is that the queue is plenty. We are here, they have to attend to us on time. But I come here somewhere around 8. By now the time is almost 10. You get it? I have to go and do other things, but I have to wait. So if government can do anything to assess them, they should do.
You have some frustrated patients trying to access healthcare at some government hospitals. Meanwhile, the General Secretary of the Medical Laboratory Professional Workers Union, Dr. Cephas Akoto, says their members across the country are back to work. He assured that efforts are underway to restore full professional capacity by tomorrow.
We are resuming work today. Our members are reporting to work, but full operation take effect tomorrow. because, as they are out of the area, people may have gone to tamper with the equipment and things that we use to conduct our analysis. But by tomorrow, full operation will begin. The decision to put the strike action on hold is an action we have taken in good faith. That's the fact that our issues have not been resolved. We have decided to do it in good faith, expecting that the employer will also reciprocate good faith. Labour Commission has directed both parties to go back to the negotiation table and engage. Between the day we had a meeting up to Wednesday, we are believing that between today and Wednesday, the union and the employer will meet again to continue with the negotiation and continue to do our work as expected. We pray that the duty bearers will not push the union further to do anything like that again. So for us as a union, we will fully comply with all the directives, and every action of the union will be a reflection of the order given by the Labour Commission.
Dr. Cephas Akoto is the General Secretary of the Medical Laboratory Professional Workers Union. Now, the coalition of NAPCO trainees has issued a one-week ultimatum to the government demanding the payment of outstanding arrears owed its members. This comes after Vice President Dr. Bawumia on June 2, 2024 pledged to pay the trainees 9-month arrears, which is yet to be fulfilled. In an interview with Citi News, Public Relations Officer for the coalition, Eric Nanatechi, expressed disappointment and frustration over Dr. Bawumia's silence on his promise, which has spanned several weeks. Members of the coalition are thus threatening to embark on a massive demonstration if the government fails to deliver on its promise.
As I speak to you, NAPCO trainees are going through excruciating hardships. In fact, the situation of NAPCO trainees is very pathetic. It is very pathetic. Trainees are in a state of shock and starvation to death. Trainees cannot even afford 2 cedis food as I speak to you. NAPCO beneficiaries are psychologically traumatized. You know the grim economic outlook that we find ourselves in, the high inflation, unemployment rate, high prices of goods and services and electricity. NAPCO trainees are not exempted from this. And we plead with the Vice President to honor the promises he made to release funds to pay NAPCO beneficiaries. We have given the Vice President 1 week ultimatum to release funds to settle all the arrears that have engulfed the NAPCO scheme. Failure to do that, we are going to stage a mega demonstration against the Vice President if our demands are not met within the specific day that has been given.
You have the Public Relations Officer for the Coalition of NAPCO Trainees, Eric Nanatechi. Now, 3 educational work unions have announced that the National Labour Commission has stepped in and arranged a meeting with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission on Wednesday, June 26, over the union's demand for inclusion in the recent government review of the Vehicle Maintenance Allowance, the VMA, and other related allowances. The unions involved are the Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana, the Federation of Senior Staff Association of Ghana, and the Teachers and Educational Workers Union of the Trades Union Congress. This intervention follows an ultimatum issued by the unions expressing their dissatisfaction over being excluded from the allowance review granted to the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG. Well, in an interview with Citi News, the national chairman of the Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana, George Anson, expressed hope that the meeting would bring positive outcomes.
This allowance has never been in the system for all this while, and there are times that the rates are reviewed, and any time the rates are reviewed, everybody gets the new rate. It is only this time that they are saying that it's only for UTAC, and the other staffs or other unions are not part. This is a strange thing that is happening. So it's a matter of extending it to the new rate, extending it to everybody who qualifies. That's all. Last Wednesday, the parties were invited by the National Labour Commission. So the directive from the National Labour Commission was that we have a case. So Fair Wages should meet with us and come on coming Wednesday. And as we speak, we have not received any invitation or anything from them. So we are just counting the days. If by Wednesday we have not met them, then we will know what to do.
That was the national chairman of the Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana, George Anson. Now, the Ghana Students Association in Hungary is optimistic about receiving the 9-month stipend owed them by the government by the end of this week. This follows a message received from the Hungary embassy that the government has released funds for the payment of the stipends. Previously, students, including those pursuing PhDs, master's degrees and undergraduate studies, had expressed frustration over the government's negligence in paying their monthly stipends, citing severe financial hardship and hindrances to their academic pursuits. Well, in an interview with Citi News, the president of the Ghana Students Association in Hungary, Abdul Manaf Rabiu, expressed appreciation for the government's intervention but urged them to expedite payments in the future.
Some weeks ago, we were in the media to draw the attention of the general public to our unpaid stipends for 9 months. I want to confirm to the public that I have received an official message from the embassy in Prague confirming the receipt of our money from the government of Ghana to be disbursed to the students. In view of that, students have been asked to submit their bank details for the payment. I am hopeful the students will receive their money before the end of the week. On behalf of the students here in Hungary, we are grateful for the swift action by the government of Ghana, and we further plead with the government to expedite payment of stipends in the coming months to reduce burden and distress on the part of the students and also encourage stress-free academics.
You heard Abdul Manaf Rabiu. He's president of the Ghana Students Association in Hungary. This is a Citi Prime News. Still ahead, only Bridge 7, Enchi and Elubo communities in our Wen municipality collapses, leaving thousands of residents stranded. Please stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV. Telling your story, empowering change.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Yeah, welcome back. Let's take you to the Western North region now. Travelers relying on the Seoul Bridge connecting Enchi and Elubo at Buenso in the Awini municipality of that region have been left stranded after the bridge collapsed over the weekend. The chief of Buenso, Nanakwejo Mia, along with frustrated residents and travelers, expressed their concerns about the collapse, which has brought businesses and daily lives to a standstill. They have urgently appealed to the government to repair the bridge immediately.
Slabai, Yanagu Fomo, Nanakwejo Mia the second, the third.
As the leader in this community, I implore the government to assist us. They must expedite the repair of this bridge. The current state of affairs has caused a standstill in economic activities in this locality.
Yes, Rabbi. Yasim Tiawa. And a chinachi. Omea bridge for Floro.
You heard the chief of Buenso, Nanakwejo Mia. Now, away from that, the Deputy Director General of the National Sports Authority, Bawa Majid, has refuted allegations that the Boteman Sports Complex was rented out for a church service. Now, a viral video on social media shows the church service taking place in one of the domes of the $145 million multipurpose facility. The video has sparked concerns about the facility's maintenance. In an interview with Citi News, Mr. Bawa clarified that the NSA did not authorize the church service.
It wasn't given out for a church service. And this thing happened on the 1st of June. It isn't that somebody has given the place out for a church service. No. After the program, a number of people have wrote to us that they want to use it for their program, their church service, and we refuse. So this was an exceptional case. There are a lot of letters on our file that people want to, particularly the dome, because they feel that the place is big enough and they want to use it for their weekly church service. And we did not agree because the place was not built for church services. So that is the whole truth about the matter. It wasn't that the authority was aware that it was supposed to be a church program and they deliberately give it out for a church program. They said they wanted to organize a tour of the facility as part of their fun game trips. That was the basis upon which we released the facility. We allowed them access for the facility. And during the tour, I was there. And when they requested that they want to, a deputy minister was coming to give them lecture on leadership. So I felt that it will enhance their program. So why not? So I allowed them access.
Mr. Bao Majid is Deputy Director General of the National Sports Authority. Away from that now, the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization is advocating for the reduction of taxes on the importation of mobile phones into the country as it has resulted in the smuggling of devices. In 2021, the Sector Minister Eslo Usuekufu mentioned that Ghana was nearing an agreement to join a global central identity registry aimed at enhancing mobile phone security. This initiative included re-registering devices using their SIM cards. In an interview on the Citi Breakfast Show, Eslo Usuekufu indicated that a high taxation has deprived the nation of much-needed revenue.
There's quite a fair bit of smuggling in of devices without paying the requisite taxes because it's high and there's an incentive to bring it in without paying the taxes. So my conversation with GRA, the former commissioner, and the finance ministry is that with this equipment identity register, you would have visibility over all devices that are customed and uncustomed. Currently, they are collecting just about 30-40% of the tax that they should on devices because it's high, so people are smuggling it in. So once this network is up and running, we can lower the taxes to like 10 or 5%, which will enable more people be compliant than they are. So at the end of the day, they won't even lose out. We pegged it way too high. So it's an incentive for people to smuggle it in, depriving the nation of much needed revenue. Let's reduce it. Economies of scale. It just makes sense.
Well, Eslo Usuekufu also warned persons who profit from mobile phone theft, stating that measures are being implemented to curtail such activities.
It reduces the incentive for people to steal other people's phones. I've been going around my constituency as usual, and one of the largest security concerns is phone snatching. So if we set up the system and we're going to do it, nobody has to queue to register any device. We can get that information from the telcos who have it already. If your device is lost or stolen, you can report it and it will be blocked and it cannot be used on any network in this country. So for petty criminals who steal people's devices for resale, it becomes useless because it will be blocked. And the unblocking and unlocking industry too, unfortunately, will be affected.
Esla Usuekufu is Minister for Communications and Digitalization, but will stay a while longer with her because she has denied claims that telecommunications giant MTN Ghana has been excluded from the country's 5G deal. Her comment comes in response to recent debates among stakeholders who believe MTN's dominance in the telecom industry should warrant its inclusion in the contract. Speaking on the Citi Breakfast Show, Esla Usuekufu assured that the government is committed to involving all telecommunications networks in the deal.
I don't know who created that impression. Somebody threw it out there and nobody spoke to me or any of those involved in putting this consortium together before throwing this false alarm out there. It's not true.
So you can set on record that they will be?
Absolutely. I said discussions are ongoing.
So that means they'll own part of the next gen infraco?
All network operators in the country are being offered the opportunity to take up equity in this next-gen infraco. All of them, including MTN.
I see. So that means that just a matter of time. But have they expressed interest? Have they said to you they'll do it?
They've definitely expressed interest.
Because some feel like if they are not part, it will be tough as well because they've invested a lot in 4G. And since obviously 5G is the next level, some of the companies involved like AT and Vodafone may not have had the level of investment of MTN. So for all of us as an industry, it's good to have MTN to be part of that. But
that has always been the plan.
Well, she has also been reacting to claims that NextGen Infraco was set up merely for the rollout of the 5G network. Esla Osuekufu says the Infraco network or the NextGen was set up to provide network access to 4G.
Now, this NextGen Infraco is going to do nationwide 4G and 5G as well. It's not just 5G. It's going to do nationwide 4G as well to provide a platform for any entity which also wants to utilize that infrastructure to deliver their services. But
that would be difficult for MTN to agree, don't you think? Because if I'm already doing 4G, there's a company that's coming, consortium, to do both 4G and 5G. They are competing with me on one hand. And yes, we're going to work together on the 5G.
They are all competing against each other.
So you don't see a problem there?
I don't see a problem in there. Now, if their network is congested and they need additional capacity, they can also fall on this to provide them with that capacity to extend their services to other parts of the country.
You heard Esla Osuekufu, she's Minister for Communications and Digitalization. She was speaking on the City Breakfast Show this morning. Let's move on now from here. And the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okujeto-Ablakwa, has filed a right to information RTI request demanding some disclosures on Rock City Group, the company buying shares in hotels owned by the Social Security and National Insurance Trust Net. The MP who led a protest against the sale of the 60% shares in 4 Snet hotels to Rock City owned by Greek Minister Brian Echampon is demanding evidence that the company has the accurate GRA tax clearance certificate. He questioned the validity of the certificate presented since the company has failed to file its tax returns for 2021 and 2022. Samuel Okujeto-Ablakwa is also demanding a full disclosure of the evaluation report on Rock City Group, as well as minutes of all tender committee meetings. For the North Tongue legislator, it is important that SNET complies with the RTI law and submits the requested information in support of transparency and accountability. Now, the Greater Accra Regional Minister Daniel Nikwate Titus Glover has announced plans to construct a perimeter wall around the Ecomog fire scene to prevent encroachment. This follows an earlier directive issued by the minister against the construction of structures in the area gutted by fire 2 weeks ago. In an interview with the media at the Ecomog fire scene today, the regional minister reaffirmed his commitment to protecting the area from encroachment.
This morning, I came to inspect the work that has been done. On the 5th of June, fire gutted this place and it affected one of the pylon lines. So on the 6th, I came to see things for myself. And the point is that the risk, the peril of their lives of these guys living around is not best. So I told them everybody should not come back. They thought I was joking. So we've cleared all their foundations they had here. They wanted to come back. You could see on the ground that they have demarcated with charcoal. And the strong ones amongst them are taking over the lands and giving them bits and pieces and all that. So just to ascertain myself what has been done with my operational team and to assure the people in the region that I'm really on the job to make sure that people don't risk their lives. We need to look for money and wall here from the beginning to the end so that we can protect this place.
That was the Greater Accra Regional Minister Titus Glover. Now, the convener of the Ghana Compact and founder of the African Center for Economic Transformation, KY Amwako, has disclosed that Ghana's economy has lost its momentum in economic transformation. He made this announcement during the Ghana Compact Citizens Convention held at the University of Ghana's City Conference Auditorium in Accra. The initiative aims to foster a consultative dialogue among all stakeholders to develop a vision for Ghana, a compact for Ghana's political and economic transformation. In his opening remarks, KY Amwako emphasized that despite some growth in the economic sector, Ghana's economy remains vulnerable to crisis and has not significantly improved the livelihoods of its citizens.
Over the past 2 decades, Ghana has lost ground on economic transformation. Of course, we've had a few periods of strong growth, but this has not translated into better lives or livelihoods for our ordinary citizens. And every time a crisis hits, we are about to square one. Our ability to withstand and bear back from shocks is not what it should be. And this is not just anecdotal. The data bears that out.
You heard the convener of the Ghana Compact and founder of the African Center for Economic Transformation, KY Amwako, bringing us to the end of today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Ajua Tinkrama. Do remember to log on to citinewsroom.com for more stories. Good afternoon.
Citi News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 973.